that, my past has been rife with definite eating disorders, and also working really freaking hard, harder than most. Like, I've taught up to 40 classes a week, to be at a certain weight and just being wiped and exhausted. And so this has been like an absolute eye opener for me. I never thought I'd be out here talking about any of this stuff. I mean, up until 5 years ago, I wouldn't even take any images or video with my belly showing. It was always from behind, you know, put in a particular way. So that's where I am. I am obviously a definite advocate, otherwise I wouldn't be an ambassador for who I am at the moment. And in no way, shape, or form am I saying this is for everyone, or this is the best way, or, I'm saying this is what's working for me right now and has allowed me to see my compulsive and addictive behavior.
Okay. Lovely. Thank you so much, Candice. Can I ask some questions? Yeah. Are you
Go
okay with
ahead. I just keep thinking of that thing that guy said to you, that you should come with a trigger warning. Yeah, you should.
I,
I'm
I think we've
saying.
we've already talked about everything, so I don't think there's going to be anything that I haven't already
Oh,
asked.
okay. Sure.
So, so let us all know, what is it about the weight loss, medical weight loss, I'm going to say injection, that has helped you? Do you believe? What's been different about this than anything you've ever
Um,
tried before?
I think for me, there's an awareness of the neurological aspect to this. It's being able to have one cookie instead of 20, being able to have one glass of wine instead of 20. I I'm a compulsive person. Like, I didn't realize I had these these issues. I didn't realize that my first drug of choice was sugar, and that's where this behavior started. And I guess all of it falls into line with this, ADHD behavior, which is linked to impulse control and attention,
Okay.
which many, many, many years, like 20 years ago, when no one was talking about it, I was having tests done and being diagnosed with that. I did not get any treatment, because, as in medication for ADHD, because I found yoga and meditation, which helps regulate the noise.
Lovely.
But yeah, it's definitely tied into it. So I think that's what's been the biggest thing for me. So, as we were talking about earlier, the food noise,
Mhm.
is it food noise or is it just noise?
Mm. Well, that's the question. So this is, I've been speaking to a couple of other people about this as well. And the question for me earlier was, for someone, it's like, if the food noise has died down, if that's true for you, has the
Mm,
noise gone, or has it just been replaced with other noise? And is it healthier noise? What's
yeah.
that process
Yeah.
like? Yeah.
Look, yeah, I think it is being replaced with other noise, but it's not like, it's not all consuming. I
Okay.
notice I'm a lot more productive. I'm getting a lot more work, like, done, and work that I don't particularly enjoy, like administratively. Just because I
Right.
can't create content now and do modeling and whatever, doesn't mean I don't have to do all the back end stuff,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
auditions and applications and this, and reach out to different brands, and I self manage myself, so I have to do the admin. It's actually a lot of admin, and I hate
Right.
admin,
So,
but I'm
so
doing it.
why do you think it's changed? But why do you think why are you doing it now and you weren't before?
Well, I think because I was normally always thinking about my next snack. And my next snack is also a great way for me to not have attention, and be compulsive about that. That it's like, I wanted, as a person who's like neurodivergent, I'm always looking for the next stimulation. I'm always looking for the next, you know, to distract me from the present moment, which is why I'm only ever present really when I'm meditating. But
Mm.
I'm always looking for that. I find that to be less.
Okay. And so just go back, because I think you mentioned something that the the I'd call it the injection, that it does something to the pathways, the neurological
Mhm.
pathways. Is that right? Have I understood that correctly?
So yes, so the medical weight loss, the treatment, it does it works with like again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional. It works with the same receptors and the same area that is associated with ADHD and impulse control and attention. So that's why they are seeing some results. That's why people are talking about, well, I'm not as, I stopped this addiction, or I stopped that, or I'm doing, because it's the same region of the brain. There is not definitive research being done yet. I think there is scope for that to be done. But it's there. It's being talked about. It's studies in mice. We're at mice right now. Have shown that it does help impulse control and attention because
Okay.
it
So,
uses that same receptors. Yep.
yeah. So I'm sure a question that we've obviously talked about and that people may be wondering is, what would happen then if you were to stop taking the
Yeah.
treatment?
Yeah. Really good question. I think what my understanding is that some people, due to their quite serious medical conditions, would be on this long term unless something really biologically changed. And then I have also seen different stories. I'm really involved in different groups and seeing other people and watching other people online and engaging, that they have managed to come off it and maintain healthy habits. I think it's really hard to, this is again personal opinion, not based on fact. I think it's hard to maintain anything if you haven't had a support network around it. I think not having you know a dietitian or a nutritionist or someone you can talk to about, well, I'm plateauing, I'm just not going to go up and have another dose. They can say, wait, hold on, just have more protein, this is just a little speed hump. They can talk you through, not continually wanting to up your journey, but instead seeing other options. So I think it has to be looked at as a whole holistic treatment.
Okay. You mentioned there the dietitian and the nutrition. What about the psychological aspect of it in terms of support?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think yes, having a coach as well. Definitely having a coach is massive, because you're this is a neurological, there's a lot of neurological factors that happen when you're on this treatment. um and if we're not bringing, I think, awareness to the
Mhm.
behaviors and the patterns, they will always return to us once we go off the treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
because awareness is curative. So if you didn't spend time going into self-inquiry with a professional or someone, whoever, then you're never going to be able to shift it. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think for you, Candice? Because I'm just going to assume, and you can obviously tell us
Mm,
that
mm.
in the past, when you have potentially worked with coaches, therapists in the past, what was different about your mindset then than it is now? And I think obviously the drug is helping with that. But is there anything that's changed for you now, in terms of
Well,
the sort of, yeah?
I this is the clincher actually. I never worked with anyone in regards
Mhm.
to my eating disorder.
Interesting. Yeah.
Ever,
Okay. I didn't
ever,
know that.
ever, ever. In fact, for me to even
Mm.
call it an eating disorder, I think we spoke the other day and we were talking about how binge eating is an eating
Mm.
disorder. But we don't
Yeah.
call it that. We don't call it that.
Well, we
Me,
didn't. We
you know?
didn't. But definitely when it was not, when it was my thing. It's
Yeah,
more of a recent, yeah, kind of
yeah.
label now, for sure.
But
Yeah, totally hear you.
it's,
Yeah.
and it binge eating ties into bulimia and ties in. I mean, I put up a video the other day of how when I was like really young, I was making myself throw up because I just couldn't, like, it was the 90s. So
Yeah.
I think if you're not working with someone, you'll never see it. But I'm only seeing it now
Um,
because
you
I'm
didn't
like you.
realize previous that that was
I just
a
thought, oh,
disorder, a
it was the
disorder.
90s. It was the
Right.
90s. But then I've spent the last, 10 years being in fitness and or 20 years being in fitness and then really as a teacher and training and all of that. But I still had like I would just have a box of ice creams for dinner and then
Mm.
like
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
freaking get up at 5 and be working out and on the beach for 2.5 hours and do you know what I mean? And then teaching
But
another
what
five, six
were you
months.
guilt? Was that because you felt guilty for what you had eaten?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely.
it was
So
definitely a
that
guilt
in
thing. Yeah,
itself is not healthy, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I
It's
think it's an interesting point. I always used to think when I was in my teenage years, probably early 20s as well, that I I was like, I'm not brave enough to make myself sick, so I would binge, but it would just be up here, and I would not have the. I always used to say I wasn't brave enough to have an eating disorder because binge eating wasn't
yeah,
diagnosed back then in
yeah,
theory. And it was
yeah.
either you're bulimic or you're anorexic. So I was like, I know this isn't right, but what is this?
Yeah,
So I think
yeah,
it is that thing because sometimes labels are handy
yeah,
until they're not anymore. So of at
exactly.
that kind of age, not having had done any of this work, it was like there's something not right, but what is it? And I
Exactly.
think that's yeah, go on.
It's labels are really, I just think, look, here's the thing about labels. They are necessary so that you can bring awareness so you can shift it.
Mm,
But
mm,
if the
yeah,
label
yeah, yeah.
doesn't exist, you can't specify what the actual thing is.
Yeah, yeah, and I
I mean,
think
you
it's
can't.
that thing where, yeah, it's. I remember, I think it was Gabor Mate that I heard say this. It's like
Love
labels are
Marvel.
not the end. Labels are just, in theory, the beginning if we are
Absolutely.
willing to go there. So it's
Yeah.
like have the ADHD, diagnosed, have all of that,
Yeah.
and then rather than just thinking that's the end, this is how I am for the rest of my life, it's looking back to where did the trauma, whatever we want to call it, the
Yeah.
experience start, so that now I can map back to
Yeah.
how this all began, and now I can really potentially start to shift this once I can make meaning
Absolutely.
of it and piece it together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Use
yeah.
the label so you can specify and yeah, peel it back.
Mm,
I love Gabor Mate, but I do think that self-inquiry is the way through. And
yeah,
I don't know if like I thought, oh, I've been in coaching, I've done all this stuff. And yet, here was this other layer to me that I've been in complete
mm,
denial about for
mm,
46 years, or for however, whenever it started, right?
mm.
Right?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
think that yeah, I'm spiritual, I know what I'm doing, I understand NLP. No, there's still this whole other part of my brain that has been in complete avoidance. Like my
Right.
sister used to say to me, she'd be like, I don't understand it. I have so much chocolate in my house. How do you like just can't keep chocolate in your house? I was like, what do you
Mm,
mean? Can't keep chocolate in my house
mm.
because I will eat it all. I will not only eat my chocolate, I will eat my partner's chocolate. I will eat my kids' chocolate. I will
Yeah.
eat everybody's chocolate.
And you
It,
didn't see that there was anything going on
no,
there. And
no.
now that you know that, what was that all on behalf of keeping, the food in the mouth?
I think it's the dopamine. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean? Because dopamine hit, you think that dopamine is allowing you to feel. It's allowing you to
Okay.
just really abuse one feeling over and
Right.
over again. It's like the rats in
Right.
that experiment, with the cocaine in the
Right.
water. They're going to choose the cocaine, right?
Right. So for you,
So
you'd say it was dopamine. Yeah.
it was
Okay.
dopamine.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
dopamine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want the
Yeah.
dopamine because it's just it allows you to be so absent.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
that's it. So for me, in the understanding of it from my perspective, is the absence that I was looking for, and the absence that I was looking for was the absence from mind. So for me, it was less about the
yes.
dopamine because people would always say to me, "Oh, is it the chocolate? Is it the rush you get? Is it the hit?" And I'm like, I don't get any hits from chocolate. Like it just for me that wasn't a thing. But what
Yeah.
it was there was an association. Firstly, for me, it was with love in a sense because the love language growing up was big meals, food.
Yeah.
That was how I was shown
Same.
love. But then I started to adopt this relationship of love and hate because it was such extreme love that it would then lead to
Hmm.
hating myself
Hmm.
because I would indulge so much. But ultimately, starting to do this coaching work really helped me to see that it was actually all about becoming present to the sensations of the chocolate rather than, for
Yeah.
me, the dopamine of just shutting the noise, that all of
Yeah.
that head noise up. And that
Yes.
was where the work really started. I remember, for me, there was this beautiful coaching session that I had. I was doing NLP at the time. We were doing some buddy coaching, and one of these buddy coaches said to me, can you give yourself permission to eat as much chocolate as you like? And I was like, are you mad?
Yeah.
Are you absolutely crazy? I was like, no way. And then I went away and I thought about it. My initial thing was to mismatch, to disagree, to go no, which is what all of my clients say whenever I offer this as the permission frame.
Yeah.
I was the same. But then it just made sense. And a few days later, it was like that was the whole transition of my whole relationship with food, was to go,
Hmm.
yeah, okay, I give myself permission. And because I'd now given myself permission and stopped
Mm.
resisting,
Yeah.
I didn't want the chocolate as much anymore. So I would
Yeah.
still occasionally have the chocolate, but the difference was that I wasn't waking up the next day remembering how much I'd eaten, beating myself up, telling myself I was never going
Mm.
to eat again, like I used to when I was, in the younger days. And I would just forget about it. And the next day I'd go on about my day and I wouldn't need chocolate. And then the next time I had some chocolate, there just wasn't a problem.
Mm.
And within that as
Mm.
well, I was able then to start eating less cookies, as you say.
Mhm.
One, maybe not one, maybe two or three, rather than
Yeah.
the whole pack, then became enough.
Yeah.
And
It's
so for
true.
me, that was the absolute, changing, the
Yeah.
absolute,
It's interesting because I get that, like, but I don't think that would be enough of a shift for me to give the permission, because I give myself permission because I've pleasurized the
But do you
experience.
judge
I'm
yourself
a
afterwards, Candy?
yeah,
Do
but
you
I'm a
judge? Well,
pleasure
but that's
junkie.
it.
I
That's it.
like the pleasure and the pain. I'm
Yeah,
just pleasure. Oh, I love it.
yeah,
Like when I'm eating stuff, my sister's always like, "Why do you have to like act like you're having the best experience of your life? Like calm down." But I'm like, "But I am. It's so good." And I'm like, I have this pleasurizing of things, which is amazing
yeah.
because I can pleasurize like challenging things. But
Yeah,
I
but
also then
Candice,
pain.
this could be the change point, right? Like
Okay.
this could be, because at the moment what you've done is you've anchored in this thing that when you eat, you
I have.
automatically reach for that pleasure point. So there's a kind of, a reframing in that to potentially do,
Mm,
but only if you're ever ready for that, right? And I think that's the thing.
mm,
It's like, if you're not
mm.
ready, you're not going to do it. And if you enjoy it that much, then, it's like carry
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely ready because I see it now. And
Mm,
I think the medication has allowed me to see it
yeah.
in a different way. I mean, I don't know the science behind it, but I do see myself pausing before there's a pause which hasn't
Yeah.
been
No.
there before. I mean, don't get me wrong,
Mm,
if my hormones are going crazy, I'm going to scoff lots of ice cream. But um there's a pause, there's something there, there's something that happens that
yeah.
before I go to eat like the 10th cookie,
So what
right?
is it that happens?
Something just says, no, that's enough. Like it's like the I guess the pleasure's maybe not as intense,
Okay.
like I wonder, and I think it does work. This works with your dopamine
Yeah.
clearly. Um,
Yeah.
and it's just not as fulfilling,
Yeah.
it's like even the wine's not as fulfilling. And
Yeah.
I love wine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
But do you
don't get
love
me wrong.
wine as much as, because if it's changing something for you, then it's showing that something's changed. So how can
Something's
you
changed.
love it that much if it's lessened?
Well, that's the
It's like this.
thing.
Yeah.
You're
Mm,
right, because I caught myself
mm,
saying I love this or that, and I thought, do I as much? I mean,
mm,
don't mind it,
mm,
but I'm just so used to saying I love chocolate, I love wine, but then I'm like, mm, like, wait, do I?
mm,
So
mm,
that's interesting,
mm.
and obviously, I think this treatment is bringing that's what I mean. It's the awareness. But again, if I'm not
Yeah.
sitting here unpacking it and moving through a self inquiry process, I think
But this is
there's
this is the beauty, isn't it? This is the beauty of it. You know, for some people
mm,
it is take the medication whilst doing the work so that the medication isn't needed for the rest of your life. Obviously, it's not the
mhm,
same for other
mhm,
people. But if people are in this process, then there's a potential it's helping you bring awareness to something that
mhm.
potentially would mean that when you're not taking it anymore, you've already anchored in something different, you know?
Exactly, which is
Mm,
a beautiful thing, changing the anchors,
mm,
like you said, because I've got some strong anchors clearly. Like I like
yeah,
it's there
yeah,
because I don't need like yeah, I can feel it like when I talk about, you know,
yeah,
that feeling of a chocolate bar.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's really interesting. Okay, I mean, when you were, so did you not need to anchor anything in order to shift that state, or was it just giving yourself permission to eat a
Just giving
thousand
myself
hamburgers?
permission. Yeah. It just,
Wow.
to me, it made, after a few days, it made sense. And I don't want to discount the fact that I'd been in therapy for many years before that. So that there had already been a big shift. You know, I'd already worked
Mm,
out in therapy that food, the association of food was love. And what I would do in my younger years as well was the minute anyone left the house, like when I lived with either my
yeah.
boyfriend or with friends, I would go straight to the fridge. It was
Mm-hmm.
like this
Mm-hmm.
secret thing that I would do, and I
Secret
wouldn't have any
eaters. It's
food in the
called
house.
secret eaters.
Yeah, but they would. And this is what I worked out though. It was because it was like someone had left. So to fill the void of someone having left the house, I needed to put
Oh,
something in my mouth so that I wouldn't experience loneliness, so I could take myself out of the thing. And what used to happen, and then I moved in with my ex, and I was like, how am I going to live with someone? Because he's going to want to have food in the house. I'm going to be living with someone. I can't tell him to this. You know, we're going to have an empty fridge. And this was it. So when he would go out, I remember the first time he went out, and I saw myself automatically going to the fridge. But I actually stopped myself. I stopped there, and I went, he loves me. I don't need the food. And I stopped
wow.
myself from eating, from taking anything needed to. It was such a habit by then, and it was going, I'm with someone that loves me. And back then it wasn't self-love, it was still, external love, but it
Mm-hmm.
worked.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm-hmm.
enough to go, I don't need to carry on with this habit anymore. So that was kind of the breaking of it, was over a number of years until the coaching room, the
Yeah.
stuff that we learned there through the training. It was kind of like that was the icing on the cake to
Yeah.
really help resolve that.
I wonder, you just said something there actually about
Mm,
I don't need to go, like, he loves me. I don't need to fill the void. I wonder, I mean, obviously, this is common sense, I guess. Is all of this from filling the void of lack of love?
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and that's weird
yeah.
because I have so much self love for myself. Because,
Mm,
like, I'm
yeah.
courageous and amazing, and I think there's amazing. I think amazing. I know I've done some amazing things and pushed through them. So I have this self love, but I wonder if there's a thing of the outside world that I don't have
Mm,
enough of from, which
mm,
the pleasure of food or chocolate. It's not really food for me. It's
mm.
sugar. Like I'm not really a
Totally.
junk food person. I'm a sugar person.
Yeah. But you know what you said there, Candice, earlier when we talked about the permission part, this is the really crucial part that you kind of made me remember as well, is that part of the permission is the permission to eat, but the part that comes after that is to not judge it. Whereas you said that there was so judging yourself isn't self-love. So yes, we can self-love and we can be self-loving some of the time, but we can also be complete assholes. It's not just like a static thing, right? So sometimes, yes, it's great. We love ourselves because of whatever's happening in that moment, and then we can be completely judging ourselves. So
Yeah,
self-love can come and go,
yeah.
and so can judgment.
I mean, and why do I judge myself around food so much? Like, I'm not
Mhm.
judging myself when I'm posting my entire life online or going and doing crazy things, applying for jobs I have no qualifications in. Mm, like it's so why am I so judging myself around and food and
Mhm.
how I'm perceived in my body. I guess I'm still have that thing about how the world sees me, and it's
Mhm.
tricky because I'm just fixing my camera. I just growing up in Australia was hard.
Mhm.
Coming from Fiji at 8, it was tricky,
Mhm.
and growing up in the Shire. You know, like
Mm.
that start, you know, I used to get teased. It was really, it was terrible. And I think yeah, I think that's definitely a start. That was definitely a lot for me. That was where it started. That's when
Yeah,
I realized the difference
there
in
you
me
go.
and
Yeah,
others. That I was a different
there,
size, I was a different color, I was just different.
there it is. Well, that's it. That's the starting of it. It makes so much sense, right? There's the experiences
Mm,
that if we haven't, had awareness of that, that carries on through life. So that becomes,
mm,
the judgment that you got when you were that age, when you were that young, that kind of then
yeah.
becomes your judgment, potentially the voice maybe in your head that you've taken on that isn't maybe that apparent. So potentially that's, yeah,
Damn, and you think you're not judging yourself. You think you wait, do you judge yourself for anything?
of course, all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Like
of
what?
course. Loads of
Because
just throughout the day, like anything. I don't know. What am I judging myself on? How's my hair doing today? How's my outfit? It's
yeah,
there. It's
yeah.
there. Yeah, constantly. Good, bad. Good, bad.
Hmm.
How good do I look? How bad do I look? It's there. Because we
Yeah,
just, judgment is good and bad. And if we're needing to good ourselves up too much, it's on
yeah,
behalf of the fact
yeah,
that we're probably doing the opposite, and we will be. So it's
yeah.
noticing the two ends of it. If we're needing to, pep ourselves up all the time, is it because we're trying to ignore that negative voice of judgment? So it's all it,
Mm, mm,
whilst we're talking
mm.
to ourselves, it's always in polarity. We're always trying to compensate for the other end. So yeah.
I mean, I mean, I know I'm in the most balanced and healthiest space when I
Mm,
am practicing yoga, meditating, or facilitating a class if I'm teaching.
yeah. And
It's
why is
it's
that though?
I'm very present. Like I've
Exactly.
never
There it
prepared
is.
a class in my life.
There
I
is.
have never prepped a single
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and that's right from teacher training. I have
Yeah.
always just been I don't know why, but when I get in there, I'm so present that I don't remember what I said. Like sometimes
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, that was great you said." I'm like, "What? I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what I said." But it's so
Yeah.
present and it feels
Yeah.
honest and real.
Yeah. And there's the difference. It's literally between are we present or are we in our heads?
Mhm.
And so that is everything. And obviously the reason why you might be present in a yoga class and you're not self-talking, there's no judgment there, will be for whatever reason that is for you. But the plain and simple difference is, are we talking to ourselves, or are we fully when we're fully present, there's no one there to be judging us, to be talking us
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
or up. We're,
Yeah.
we're present. So it's like
Yeah.
noticing, for anyone, is noticing, where in my life am I, talking to myself in judgment and all the rest of it. And that comes back to the food part, right? When I'm putting food in my mouth, potentially I'm
Mm.
present because I can't really focus too much on what I'm saying whilst I'm,
Yes.
in this state of sensations and presence with the food. And
Mhm.
that's kind of the cycle of it goes in the mouth, it feels good. It's like the first puff of a cigarette. It's like, got time to be thinking then, but then however many minutes
Yeah.
after, whatever it is we've done, whether it's sex, whether it's drink, whatever, however many moments after that, even if it's only a second, then we might be back in our heads going, I shouldn't have had that cigarette, I shouldn't have eaten that.
Mhm.
And then it's like, let me put some more in my mouth again in order
Mm.
to stop that voice again. So it's like we're always trying to get back to a present state, our most natural state. And we think we need these
Mm.
external things because we don't trust that we can just do it through our breath,
Yeah.
through speaking, through
Yeah.
these natural ways of doing it. And there's always got to be something externally that's going to do this for me.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, that's actually really correct because your mind is quiet when you're enjoying chocolate.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I definitely think the medical weight loss, this is like I've never had that pause. There is
Right.
nothing that stopped me from
Right.
having that pause when I go to the fridge. And this is the
Right.
first time in my life where I have the pause.
Right.
Like I can be
So
training 50 hours, whatever. It doesn't matter. I
yeah.
never have the pause. I'm always like, I'll just shove it in my mouth, go teach, do this, do that.
Yeah.
But now the pause is there, and I wonder, yeah, and the pause is reflective.
Yeah.
It's
Good.
it's really
Amazing.
powerful. But
Yeah.
again, I wonder how many other people who are having the same experience understand what the pause is, or are having that.
Probably not loads.
Mm,
There's something you've obviously trained a lot, in
yeah.
meditation, all the rest of it. So it's not necessarily, it's not, or it even might be that they see the pause, but they don't maybe believe that they can create that pause without
Mm,
the who knows. But I
yeah, or
think
not
there's
knowing what
probably
it
going to be a
is.
lot of advantage to all of the work that you've done before, potentially, that helps you bring awareness to it, and also is that anchored in enough potentially for that to be your future
Mm, mm,
when maybe you're
absolutely.
not. Yeah,
I think what's interesting to me also is people's reaction to medical weight loss and these treatments. Like,
yeah.
why is it making so many people uncomfortable?
Mm,
What is
yeah,
it about somebody
yeah.
else using this to help themselves that makes you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it will be some sort of shadow aspect, right? Yeah, there'll be
Mm,
something within them that's judging them. They should be able to do it without, or I've done it and I've not. And this is human nature. It's what
mhm.
we do, is we judge
But
others.
it's so broad, and I think it is so in really in Australian culture as well. I mean, I
Mm,
generalize and I don't have any stats, but just in my experience, even just coming on board and being a brand ambassador for Juniper, and it just noticing some brands not wanting to maybe work with me,
yeah,
because of that.
yeah,
So I had to adjust, and I was like, oh, okay. So I
yeah.
know that there's people out there judging, and I know that there's people uncomfortable with it, and I know, and they talk to me about it, but I didn't realize it was gonna be entire brands going, well, oh yeah, I don't know, a couple of
What do
things I
those
had.
brands? What do they promote though?
Well, they are yoga based brands, not to give too much
Yeah.
away. So,
No,
and
no, no.
I
But
get
it
that because
kind of
I'm a
makes
yoga
sense,
teacher,
doesn't it? Yeah,
and
yeah.
I get that. But am I not allowed to have both? Am I not allowed to be holistic and into natural therapies and yoga and wellness and meditation and still have
Well,
this?
Well, you are, if that's what you tell yourself, but for them, they're not, right? So
Mm,
it's human nature, right? We've got our opinions, our perspectives on what's good and and obviously we do know, and I'm not saying that this is their reasons, but also there is the side where there are side effects, as with anything. And
absolutely,
if people want
absolutely.
to focus on that aspect of it, then they'll focus on that aspect. And I was listening to someone the other day, and they work in the personal training space. There's a lot of personal trainers that are, really against it. And because in theory as well, there's a threat to business potentially. And I heard this personal
Yeah.
trainer basically saying that, why are we focusing on it being all bad? It's like, this is a great opportunity because there's weight being lost so rapidly. There's a great opportunity for personal trainers to actually, maximize from it, because people are
Mm,
potentially going to be a bit lighter. They might want to go to the gym now, and they've got some loose,
mm,
looser skin, as
mm,
whatever it is, that needs
mm,
toning up. So
mhm,
why
mhm.
would we not? So
Yeah.
it's how are people individually making meaning, framing, and all the rest of it. So yes, it's going to be good to some people, it's going to be bad to some
Yeah.
people,
Yeah, and
and yeah,
absolutely. It's not for everyone. I think everyone's journey is so particular. Everyone's history, everyone's life. I mean, my medical history and my family history is very different to everybody else's, or, it's not for everyone. But I think if we're all asking ourselves questions like why is this happening to my body, or why is that, or what is happening for me
mm,
emotionally,
mm,
internally, that's where any change happens,
yeah, I
you
think
know?
so. Yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely think so. And everyone's on their individual, it's like with
absolutely.
anything, we kind of just look at it like this and go, why? And then you look at human nature, we divide it in many ways. And when you actually quiz anyone, because we never know, we'll kind of question it and go, well, why
Mm,
would they be against it?
mm,
But until you actually ask them and quiz them, and then
yeah.
you might go, right, I get it now. I completely understand why they're against
Mm,
it or why they're for it. So sometimes it's like getting curious as to someone's, rejection of
mhm,
something can tell us a lot as well. And it goes, yeah, I
yeah,
get that for you. I hear,
yeah,
the different perspectives on it. And I also hear my own. And I
yeah.
trust my own judgment that this is working for me in this moment. And if
Mm.
anyone's judging it, they're going to judge anyway, because that's what we do as humans. So
Yes,
what can we do?
exactly. Exactly. We're always judging as humans. So I
Mhm.
guess what I'm really excited about is the inquiry process with this
Hmm. Yeah.
is to create long lasting effects. And
Yes.
that's what I can the if I could give everyone one advice who's thinking about doing this, do it with a support network and have coaches or nutritionists or dietitians or whoever, like if find a system that's going to support you to
Yeah.
have longer lasting effects
Yeah.
and healthy results, not sort of because obviously there's people out there just going to the doctors and going crazy with the and it
Yeah.
needs to be, I think it needs to be, managed and supported and looked at holistically as a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
experience.
And it's great because I didn't know before I spoke to you and a couple of
Mm.
other friends how much support there is with some of the
Yeah,
brands,
yeah,
and then others obviously there isn't. So it's yeah, it's
ex-
getting the support where it's offered is the main thing. So,
yeah.
and I think that's it. It's like if anyone's listening and wanting to hear more, obviously Candice is the expert and in that, and
Mhm.
also if you want to
Yeah.
chat to me about any food stuff or anything at all in terms of addiction. It's whatever. Do we want to take stuff? Do we not want to take stuff? There's options, and I think it's working out because I knew a couple of people before, and they just really struggled, and they didn't, even though they knew there was eating
Mhm.
disorders happening. For them, nothing was working. They tried everything, kind of like nothing was working to help silence the mind as
Mhm.
much as the
Mhm.
treatment, and
Mhm.
eventually they did it and it's working, and they've in their inflammation has reduced in their bodies because it wasn't happening any other
Yeah.
way, and that's what worked for
Yeah.
them. So
Can I
everyone,
ask
yeah,
you
each to their
just
own.
one sort of final question? As a coach who's worked with a lot of people, and she's worked with a lot of people, when you work with people with impulse control issues, attention issues, addiction issues, what was a major shift for one of them, or what is the thing that is the major shift in coaching for you that you see?
Well, firstly, it's understanding. So it's kind of like the end product. But firstly, it's the exploration and the understanding of why we do what we do. Again, it's that childhood stuff that you mentioned, those incidents that happen. It's
Hmm.
understanding all of that. It's understanding how we've come to be as we are today. So again, through that process of understanding that and going through that is then to start to pay attention to, again, what's happening in the mind in those moments. So exactly what you talk about, the pause. So we get to breaking down the process so that we can get to the pause, which is so slight, because you will have
Mm,
a pause. You would have had a
mm,
pause before, but you've
mm.
just missed that pause. Now your pause is probably a little bit longer and there's a bit more awareness around it, but it's literally finding that microsecond of choice
Mm,
point that we think we don't
mhm,
have. We think it's just
mm,
reactive. It's finding that and discovering from that, it's making that pause, just as you have, a little bit longer. And the more that we can,
mm,
extend that pause
mm,
out, see what's happening in that moment, then we get to ask ourselves, do I really want this or not? So I don't work with people saying, don't have the cigarette, don't have the food, do what you want with it, but allow the pause and notice what's
mhm,
going on in there.
mhm.
Do what you're doing or don't do it. Notice the self-talk afterwards. And so we're
Okay.
never working on the vice, we're working on the judgment program. And then
Yeah.
it's like, where did judgment start? Well, it started in childhood when those kids said these things about me. And that's it. Now you've got that
Mm,
voice in your head and it's still running 40 years later.
mm,
Yeah. So we this is what's happening. And
yeah.
so then the shifts are just like mine. It's like now we can see it. We have a
Mm,
choice. Do we want to eat it, put it in our mouths or not?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's it. It's never about all of that. I've seen some incredible things happen, not because we've worked on stopping the vice, but we've worked on the self-talk, and that's the main thing.
It's always the bloody self-talk. Arr. Wow. Do you have any final questions for me?
Well, I mean, I think you're just doing what you do. I was going to say, do you have any time limit, or what do you, what any thoughts around for you, or are you just carrying
Hmm.
on as you are right now?
I'm just carrying on as I
Yeah,
am. I don't I have I think obviously I don't know I'd like to do this for the next year,
yeah,
and because it's a program, It's a
Yeah, yeah,
process.
yeah,
And, I think doing it quick and getting all, like, it's you got to be mindful of that. Again, I'm just taking my time in this process and enjoying it and seeing what happens. And yeah,
exactly.
and
Yeah, that's it.
so
Keep us
far,
updated.
yes, I will. It's amazing. Yeah, if anyone wants to chat to me about medical weight loss or anything, send me a message. Yeah, or Anita about everything
Absolutely.
else.
I'm
Creating a
happy to have a free
pause.
conversation with anyone if they're struggling with anything. Just send me a DM, and I'd love to connect. So thanks, Madeline. Lovely
Thank
to have had
you.
you on. Thanks for staying the whole
Should we
time.
anyone have any questions?
Yeah, has
Just
anyone got anything they want to ask or say? Please let us know in the
don't be
comments.
scared. Don't be scared. I still call myself a potato sometimes. Yes.
Thanks,
That's
Jean.
so,
Nice to see you. It's great. The
um
coaching room are here for us.
I know the coaching room. No, the coach also, if you're looking, obviously they're all coaching room people. I can't market. But this is amazing. I can't wait to chat to you more and yeah, give you some updates and
Love
yeah, that's
to.
awesome.
Yeah, let's keep the progress on this and keep
Yeah.
keep keep the viewers updated. I'm sure they're